Hey everyone, it's Jessica Edwards in Wilmington, North Carolina. So I had somebody talk to me or ask me about sort of the norm for the repairs that are done on a property. So if you're buying a house and you get an inspection report and you're asking the seller for repairs, and what's the norm, what's the standard? And talked about an agent had written an article somewhere or a blog post about the norm being that it shouldn't be a laundry list of items to be fixed when somebody's buying a house or buying a used house. It should be deal breaker items only. And I agree with that to a point, but I also very much disagree with that. I think that each individual property is a different case, depending what the person's paying for the property, and depending on what the items are. I think that it is more common to have not, necessarily a laundry list in every single item. But that can happen if somebody's paying close to asking price or they are paying full price or whatever. They're going to expect that stuff to be done. I think what we see the most, at least in this marketplace in Wilmington, it's more the norm, if you will, to see, if there are bigger items, obviously those, but there's always other stuff too that people are going to ask for that aren't necessarily deal breakers, but are things that they want handled before they move into the property. And I also think it's important to remember that there isn't typically on every single property deal breaker items, scary stuff that needs done or needs tackled or is, really massive things. That's not typical, knock on wood. We don't usually have, every single property that's under contract doesn't have these big ticket, major deal breaker items. So it's going to be more normal to have a list of all these other things to do. And I do think it's important as a seller to expect that a buyer is going to want some repairs done. If somebody's buying a foreclosure, a distressed property or something like that, then maybe it's as is and maybe they're not getting any repairs. But if somebody's buying a property and it's close to asking price, you're going to see a list of items and you're going to be expected to do a lot of those. And, we see everything in the middle of that as well. So even if they're not paying close to asking price, but it's not a distress, you're just going to have to be expected to do some stuff. So I think it's important for buyers and sellers to be aware of that, or sort of top of mind that if you're a buyer asking for repairs, pick out the things that are most significant, pick out the things that are most important that you want done. Don't just submit the entire list. And if you're a seller, expect and work with the buyer on getting some of those items completed that are most important to them. And I think both parties working together on that, makes the most sense. So I just don't think it's the norm to see only big ticket deal breaker items, because we don't often have big ticket deal breaker items on every property. But anyways, these are my thoughts. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email. And of course, you can always check us out at thecarolinasfinest.com. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.